Welcome back to A Vivid Life and Books for the Soul. This month, I'm going to share with you something that changed my life. When I was in a very difficult season, I had 2 biological children, 15 months apart, and 16 other kids around me with my husband and myself. And so we were 18 happy people in a household in Zambia, where life was sometimes not as uncomplicated as it is here in the more Western world. But it was all good. I had a wonderful time. It was just God's perfect timing for our family to be that growing and expanding. But in the process, I was really difficult for me to do quiet time. I could hardly find any time for myself, let alone time for God. So most things happened on the run until God in His grace heard my cries, because I could see that getting a snippet out of the Bible here and a snippet there just wasn't enough. And this came across my path, Selwyn Hughes and Cover to Cover. It was a way of helping us to read through the Bible chronologically, which is way different from just the 1-year Bible or any other approach. And it took me 1 year and 4 months the first time to now, in a very difficult season, read through the Bible. But it did happen with phenomenal insights. And I can really say, once again, you can see my markers where God really met me in ways that was just touching my heart so deeply. And that is when I came across his autobiography. And once again, it just was one of my favorite reads, and it is one of those biographies that I go back to, as you can see, and I want to share with you the vision God gave him for starting the crusade for worldwide revival, as his organization was known. And he shares a childhood memory because his grandparents were in the Welsh revival, and so his mum and dad would go and visit his grandparents, and he as a small boy would be lying underneath the table, and this is what he's writing. It was there, in the little village on the cheek of the hill, in my childhood, that I had a glimpse of the future. Writer Graham Greene says in The Power and the Glory, there is always a moment in childhood when the door opens and lets the future in. I can't begin to tell you the impact that quote made on me when I first came across it. I began to realize that some of the things that had happened to me in the first 12 years or so were windows that looked out onto my future, even though I did not realize it at the time. And in his heart, the seeds were planted from his grandparents via his parents into his heart, as him and his cousins were just playing and lying around about the Welsh revival. And what Selwyn Hughes and his writing has not impacted and expanded the kingdom of God is absolutely phenomenal. And so I am a keen follower in between reading my own Bible and having my own Bible plan, and I try to have a new plan every year. So sometimes it is reading one book out of the Old Testament and then one out of the New Testament. I occasionally also have a couple of Every Day with Jesus. And as you can see, I have a whole pile of them, and they are sometimes falling apart, but I absolutely love them. And his approach is to every 60 days have a new theme. So here we have his story, our story. And in the next 60 days is Poet of Hope. And then we have Authentic Apprenticeship, Complete in Christ, for another 60 days. And I want to encourage you to make use not just of Selwyn Hughes material. Mostly these days you find them secondhand and online. He passed away also about 20 years ago. But absolute classics, and any way in which can help you to stay close to the Bible, to get insight, and just to experience other people's commentary, and allowing them to speak into your life through books will bring you closer to God. And this is my inspiration for this month. May it help you to read selectively, but also to choose your books wisely. Happy reading.
Finding Joy is available in Afrikaans and English at Koom Books or Amazon.com.